away, because at home, we're 5th in the NFL in takeaways at home. I don't know why we go Jekyll and Hyde on the road. I don't know why, but it starts with number 11. I need him to rise and shine because he's obviously, painfully obviously good enough to wreck games. I've seen him do it before, and now we're in that same stretch that ended last year. He went the last 6 games last year with a sack and a half, the last 6 regular season games, and we're on course to do that. And just when I need him to be the best, he's the quietest. And we're going to talk later. We've gone on and on about the holds don't get called, the holds don't get called. And I got you. And there's a lot of truth to that. But in the end, you have to rise above it. Charles Haley got held. Lawrence Taylor. I'm putting Mike in this.
Everybody
they all get held. It's
Receivers
just
get held.
What happened. Okay, now listen to me. I don't yet need a podcaster. I need a game wrecker. I don't yet need an analyst like you are or like you are now. I need a Defensive Player of the Year. He was the favorite going in to win Defensive Player of the Year. Just 2 weeks ago, he was still the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. And I only say what I see, and I don't see enough from him. I don't need this. If he were in year 10 and he had won 2 Super Bowls and 2 Defensive Players of the Year, I would bless this. I would embrace it because he would be segueing into one of your chairs, not your chairs, but a chair like yours.
No, yeah.
And the point is, it's too early. It's too soon. For me, I'm raising his bar to the top. He's accomplished 0 in this league. I'm talking about accomplished, those rings that you own, the ring that you own, the accolades that both of you have. I can look up your numbers and I can look at all those thousands and thousands of yards receiving. It's real and it's tangible and it's permanent and it's forever, what you did. And his isn't yet. He's just getting started. I still consider him an NFL baby because he's still immature to a fault. He doesn't get it yet. And this okay, let me finish. This is the most painful of all to me is I've got this dream scenario out there. I did a whole podcast about it yesterday. It's dropping early this morning. But it's maybe a pipe dream scenario. But I want everybody to write us off, forget about it. I don't even care if we lose to Detroit because I think we can go to Tampa and win a football game. I just believe that. We did it last year, and Dak was sensational at Tampa in a playoff game last year. And then if fate blesses us, if the NFL gods say, yes, it's your turn, maybe we get to go back to San Francisco and right the wrong of the last 2 years. We've been knocked out of the playoffs 2 straight years by the 49ers. They are obviously really, really good, notwithstanding what happened last Monday night because they got taken apart. Well, that was good news for us because you got to see some flaws and some weaknesses. But you have to walk softly and carry a big stick in there, but you can't tell them you're coming for them. Not yet. You need to sneak in there this time because right now they're better than you are. And I don't need Micah sitting on his couch trying to analyze and coach the 49ers and inciting the fury of Deebo Samuel because he's a bad man. He's a bad man. You know it. If he's going to fire back, they're all going to fire back, and they're going to stand up for their quarterback.
And the last time,
Deebo's the leader of all of that.
Last time they played, they had the T-shirt that said, what did it say?
F Cowboy.
F the Cowboys. So
right.
they already went into
Kittle Ward.
They had the mindset.
They already had a certain mindset.
Right.
Here's what I would say about Micah in this podcast. We're in an age in sports where back and forth is part of it. It's just, it's all part of it. What I don't like is him talking about other players. If you want to talk about the game, or you want to talk about a game, or you want to give a breakdown of why you being held, things of that nature, yes. But when you start communicating about other players on other teams, that's when it gets a little sticky for me because you bring in unwarranted attention to yourself. That's not how you, and I understand you got a podcast, you want people to dial in because people like smack talking, Michael. They just do. They think smack talking is.
But he's saying, let me show you how.
There's a lot in this. There's a lot in this. There's a lot in this because what we see is how we want things done. And we sit back and say, well, I would have done this, or I would do it this way, or I would do it that way. you got to also understand the internalization of why people do things, not just what they do, but why they do it. And Michael Parsons may be one of those guys that lifts himself up through this method. That's why I don't have an issue with it. And that's why I say, as long as he's balling, and he's balling,
Michael,
he's balling, we can sit here and say, oh, he didn't have a sack in this game, while Myles Garrett is on a 5-game stretch where he haven't had a sack.
But Myles,
5 games.
But we're not talking about Myles Garrett, though.
That's my point exactly.
So
wait, let me finish. So Michael Parsons is sitting here saying, y'all are prospering. Y'all are talking about me. Y'all come out here and say what I am not. So why can't I have this platform to defend me when y'all are saying that I am not?
Nobody said
people on this desk says this man ain't quite the player that we have said him to be. We've said it right here on this desk when we have compared him with Lawrence Taylor because we talk about him so much. What's wrong with him saying, I want a voice in this situation?
Playmaker. There's nothing wrong with him saying that. But he's not talking. I just said to Skip. He's not talking about why they're holding me. He's talking. He's gotten into a conversation.
Right.
This conversation started because of Deebo Samuel's reaction to his
talking about the quarterback.
About the quarterback.
Correct.
He did not say,
I'm with you on that.
I got to play better. They're holding me. If they didn't hold me, I can get to the quarterback.
Well, he said that also.
But that's not what we're talking about. He said that also,
and that's what we're going to talk about later because he's been putting that out.
Right
so he did say that also.
But right now,
we just snatched out his piece.
We're talking about the Deebo piece.
Right.
The other stuff, I ain't got no problem with him addressing him being held.
Right.
I got a problem with him talking about Brock Purdy. If I played against the Dallas Cowboys, if Michael Irvin, and I thought Michael Irvin was he's a system guy. I'm just like, he's good. I'm worried about getting off against my players. You're against your players. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not going to go into whether or not the Troy Aikman is any good. I'm not doing that.
That's how you play.
But okay, so you say it's going to uplift him. Skip just gave you numbers from the last several weeks. He's done this every single week.
Yeah, but we're going to also talk, and you guys just said that you both concur with his conclusion on people holding him.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that. So now, wait, if you can sit here and talk about, oh, yeah, he's right. He's been getting held a whole lot. And he has 13. I'll say somebody has 17 at the top. And we can notice 3-4 times that he's been held. Obviously, he could have been the leader in the sacks. So he's bringing it to your attention because we're not talking about it enough. Why are we not talking about him being held as much as he needs, as we should be? And he has to bring it up. But we're talking about him not getting sacks.
But if he was the sack leader right now, is it okay for him to demean Brock Purdy's ability as a player currently in the National Football League?
No, but okay, but is it okay for you to say he's not what he's projected or what he's respected as in the National Football League? And that's what y'all say up here. So Michael Parsons is just defending Michael Parsons. What's wrong with that? I understand about him, and maybe he is not as polished, I would use that word, to understand in these places you don't talk about someone else's quarterback and all those things. But I'll have to take that because I know he needs to answer to what he's seeing, and I got to say I don't have a problem with that.
All right, let's go here. I did not see this coming, but Rob Gronkowski works for us, has become the biggest and I think the smartest Dallas Cowboy critic. I did not see that coming because remember what he said moments after the Buffalo game on Fox, if we could see and remember this, please.
When you're a team and you can't go on the road and win a big game in a hostile environment with weather that isn't on your side, isn't in your favor, it means you're not mentally tough. And the Dallas Cowboys are not a mentally tough football team. That being said, it has been shown last year in the playoffs. It has been shown the year before in the playoffs and has been shown this year twice now because they got absolutely blown out versus a good team in San Francisco when they went on the road as well.
Okay, and then I'm going to reiterate what he said to Kay Adams about Micah's tweet. There's a saying out there, losers focus on winners and winners focus on winning. I do like that. And there's some truth. Maybe it's over harsh truth about Micah right now, but we have lost 2 straight games, and he's focusing on a team that is clearly better than us as we speak, a team that has knocked us out of the playoffs the last 2 years. And the focus is wrong to me because it needs to be internal. What can we do better? To me. So I like what Gronk is saying, and I hope our guys are listening to what he's saying.
Yeah, and that is what I'm saying, the same thing.
Yeah.
Focus in on self, not something from week 4 or 5 or whenever they played each other. It makes no sense. And I understand what you're saying, Michael. Right. We are going to talk about him being held.
Absolutely.
It's egregious. There's no question about it. But still, even if you had 25 sacks right now, leave that man alone in San Francisco.
No doubt. No doubt.
Alone.
No doubt. No doubt. One last thing, though. One last thing. I don't necessarily concur all the way with what Gronk said about being mentally weak. I've been in Green Bay. I like to think that I'm not mentally weak. And I kept looking at that scoreboard, and it said -4, -4. I couldn't finish. I couldn't get that out of my head, you know what I mean? That -4 cold weather degrees. So, you know what I mean? Sometimes weather does affect you and it messes with your head.
You won 3 championships, man. Be quiet.
I did.
Be quiet, man.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Won 3 championships in the Ring of Honor Hall of Famer. Man, stop.
I don't think it's a mentally.
Okay, up next, we got to talk about yesterday's story of the day. Is that it for Russell Wilson in Denver? We debate next.
Stop, my God.